Welcome to WTF Wednesday. I'm going to have a little rant about something today that comes up a lot. It particularly has been coming up this week, and I get it, okay? I'm going to start off by saying I get it. I used to think the same thing. But there is hope. Okay, so stick around until the end of the video. There is hope. And the hope is very much a science-based hope as well. Welcome to SHAPEFIXER. I'm Andrew. I'm a nutritionist, and I do a WTF Wednesday every Wednesday. And today being Wednesday, I want to start by saying, what the F are we thinking when we base our nutrition around what we think is fun to eat? Okay, so what am I talking about? I'm talking about one of the most significant areas of resistance that I encounter as a nutritionist when I'm trying to help people transition to a really healthy diet, a nutritious diet, a science-based diet that will lower inflammation, help cure or at least control disease, lead to better physical health, better mental health, help you live longer and have a happier life, which all sounds like a really good thing. But the biggest speed bump, I guess, it's more than a speed bump. It's a great big barrier in the way of getting people to transition to a low carbohydrate diet and ultimately a carnivore diet, which is the ultimate low carb ketogenic diet, because then you really don't get any sugars, because remember, sugars come from plants. And is this idea that my food is going to be boring. And I kind of thought that too. I thought, well, if you're just eating meat, fatty meat, eggs, fish, chicken, butter, it sounds incredibly boring. So there's a few points here. The first point is the variations in terms of what you can make with various types of meat and various cuts of meat, and from ground beef, minced meat, to burger patties, to sausages, to kebabs, to racks of ribs, to the various ways you can prepare it, to any number of different fish dishes, what you can do with chicken and other poultry. That's not true, because you can come up with some variation. But more significantly is how much fun is heart disease? How much fun is diabetes? How much fun is just being obese and having pre-diabetes with all the restrictions in mobility and the inflammation? How much fun are all these autoimmune conditions that are mostly actually attributable to toxins in plant food? Alzheimer's disease, which has been very, very strongly linked to insulin resistance, it's actually referred to in research as type 3 diabetes. How much fun are all these things? How much fun is it dying of a heart attack at 55 because you've just been eating wrong and you're overweight and your hormones don't work properly? Saying that kind of diet, that kind of mixed, extravagantly broad diet with all these multitude of different foods is fun is a bit like a smoker saying smoking cigarettes is fun. They think it is. They're addicted to it, and they feel terrible when they don't have a cigarette. A serious drug addict actually thinks that shooting heroin up is fun. So understand why you think that all these things you're eating are fun. It's not because they're good for you, because they're not. The science doesn't care whether you think something is fun or not. The science is about the nutrient content, what your body is doing with all the compounds that are in that food, how much of it is useful and constructive, and how much of it is downright negative and destructive and sets you back. So if you eat the right things, you just get a lot healthier, and you don't have all these weight problems, mobility problems, pain problems, medical issues, medications that you then have to go on for blood pressure, blood sugar, heart medications, mental health issues. You just don't have any of that if you're eating the proper food. Now that sounds to me like fun. But, okay, here's the thing that I said I was going to share at the end, the hope thing. I went onto a carnivore diet, and I'm sure you've heard this many times if you are familiar with my channel. I went onto a carnivore diet to highlight the problems with it. That's why I went onto a carnivore diet initially. Now, I was on a ketogenic diet, low sugar diet, and I had wonderful results and reversed quite a few health issues. When I went and tried carnivore, like really strict low carb, I thought I was going to have gut problems and various issues and maybe vitamin deficiencies, but no, everything just got better and better and better. But my taste buds, my taste and my smell senses have now changed in a way that makes me absolutely love the food I eat, even if it's exactly the same as what I had yesterday and the day before, or pretty much the same. I'm very happy with it. I love the taste of ground beef. I love bacon. I always liked bacon, but now it's just eggs. And if I am faced with anything else that isn't something I would normally eat, I'm just not interested. Absolutely not interested. My body has adapted now and got used to eating the really, really nutritious animal-based food that we are designed, evolved, adapted to be eating, and that gives us absolutely the best nutrition, and it tastes better. And I thought, well, I guess I'm just getting used to it, and so now I like it. Well, that's a bit of a weak explanation. It doesn't really mean anything. And I've realized that as your body heals from years and years of abuse from carbohydrates and chemicals in processed food and plant toxins and anti-nutrients, as you recover from that and you heal and your joint pain goes away and your stiffness goes away and your mental health improves, a lot of that is your nervous system. And your nervous system healing, so you don't have neuropathies, strange pains and things. And your nervous system, remember that your senses, including smell and taste, your senses are intricately linked into the functioning of your nervous system. So as your nervous system heals, so those senses improve. And suddenly you can smell and taste the food that previously you thought you couldn't smell or taste unless you covered it with seasonings and various herbs and spices and paired it up with a bunch of vegetables or carbohydrates or extravagant rich sauces. No, you don't need to do that anymore. Salt, yes, salt is you need salt, and your body tells you when to add salt and when not, and that's okay. But it's wonderful, and when you are properly adapted to this diet, you have no more interest in having this big, wide, colourful plate with all these different food types on it. Your reaction then is going to be, what the F was I thinking when I thought I needed this complete mess and mass of different foods, which some of them aren't even foods, to be happy and to enjoy my meal. I am very happy and I enjoy eating very simple food based on a relatively narrow spectrum of food types, which is way more than enough for me to not get bored. I'm not eating for entertainment. I like enjoying my food, and I do enjoy my food when I'm hungry. And the rest of the time, I'm not thinking about food. I'm not walking around obsessed about what I'm going to have as a dessert after my meal. What does that mean? I'm going to eat my meal, and then when I've had enough, I'm going to stop eating. So food is not an entertainment. We've got to get over that idea that food is about entertainment. It isn't. It's about nutrition and about health, so that you feel good, so that you look good, so that you save all that money that you're spending on medications. You live longer, you live happier. Surely that in itself is way more entertaining than anything you could possibly ever eat. So what the F is wrong with us when we refuse or decline the opportunity to eat a proper healthy diet and get really, really healthy and strong and vibrant and slow down the aging process and feel 10, 15 years younger than we have in as long as we can remember? We don't want any of that because we would rather have diabetes, be obese, have heart disease, end up with Alzheimer's, because at least it's fun. It's not fun. Being old and being sick and being in pain is really not fun. And you know what? It's no fun for anybody around you when you're like that, because you're just miserable. So get a grip. What the F are you talking about? Oh, I have to have my chips. No, you don't have to have your chips. Okay? You need to get yourself healthy and then see what you think. It's not hard. It might be hard in the beginning. That's because of the addiction. Once you get past that, it's really not hard at all. That I can promise you, because I've done it and it is really not hard. It is absolutely wonderful. Thank you for your time. Please subscribe to our channel. If you want to know more about how to get healthy, you just stay with us on this channel, because we do a lot of videos and we have done a lot of videos. This is video number 442, I believe. We've done a lot of videos on explaining the mechanisms and the nutritional aspects of food and how they go towards helping you stay healthy and reverse disease. Thank you for your time. Please subscribe to the channel, and we will see you back here next Wednesday for another WTF Wednesday. But there will be more videos in between then.